Mortal Kombat 1 in 2024 was one of the weirdest games I've ever been in a community for because it was one of the most extreme up and down roller coasters, full of great things, but the blemishes are still staring us dead in the face. We started 2024 with the desync issues and just about everything that you could possibly think of was bugged, but then the roller coaster switched directions. In the summertime, we got some of the most fun cameos that the game has to offer, as well as rework / balance patches that finally made the majority of the cast very fun to play and at least half the cast super competitively viable at a high level. And NetherRealm carried that momentum into Chaos Reigns, where we got 2 new Brutals for each character, new cameo Brutals, we had Animalities, we have Replay Takeover, so much was added and more reworks and good balance patches kept happening that made the gameplay even more fun. But what goes up must come back down. Then we had Ghostface, and Ghostface is one of the most fun and best DLC characters in this game. The issue is he had an infinite, and the way we fix that infinite is by ruining the character. He doesn't have his best and most fun tool, and conveniently right around then the potential leaks happened that have people speculating that the game is dead. Now we do know there is an NRS game in development right now, but I don't believe the game is dead yet, so let's look into what will save it for 2025. Alright, I'll be going through this by major point to major point, and my first major point is that make Mortal Kombat 1's online play free to play. Just like Call of Duty has Call of Duty Warzone that is free for all players, Mortal Kombat 1 can have Mortal Kombat 1 online that is free to all players. 2 reasons for this. To start, new player attribution is super important right now. It is critical and it'll keep the game breathing. The second reason is NetherRealm should just lean into a free-to-play model in terms of how they design multiplayer going forward, considering everything else feels like a free-to-play live service game anyways. Giving free-to-play players a chance to try this game is a great idea, and it should happen immediately. It's a win-win. More players means more people buying the microtransactions, and when the movie skins come out down the line, NetherRealm will make more money. But that leads me into my second major point, which is limited time modes in Mortal Kombat 1. Why do we not have any? And we need some as soon as possible. Limited time modes would give you fun things to do in the multiplayer, considering all we've had is Combat League and Casuals, as well as King of the Hills. That isn't really spicing anything up. These LTMs should have special rules or goofy rules, or you could even test things you might want to secretly be testing for the next NRS game with us in these 2-week or month-long modes. Some examples of some LTMs that could be added. A 2v2 tag team. We know that is already possible, where each character gets their own individual health bar and you could sub that character in and out. It was done in MK11, so a perfect LTM. A second one, no cameo mode. I think it would be a terrible mode, but why not throw it in here at this point? You got nothing to lose. A third one that's cool, call it breaker bounce. You give each player 4 bars a meter instead of 3, and you make combo breaker only cost 2 bars. But if your opponent combo breaks during the combo, you can spend 3 bars a meter to do an armor break from MK11 style move that'll cause a pop-up animation to continue the combo just like MK11 armor breaks did on Breakaway, and lead to these super high damage creative combos, because you can have it, reset the gravity and reset the scaling a bit, just make it super fun and over the top. A mode where you select multiple cameos and you have the option to quickly select a different cameo to have at the end of each round if you decide, hey, I'd rather be using this one right now. You get to actually swap your cameos mid-game against your opponent at the end of each round, or stay the same. I could come up with limitless ideas right here that would just be fun to throw in the game for 2 weeks at a time and give us things to do that are goofy, you can laugh at with friends, anything like that. So those are just my ideas, right? And I would think the argument against it would be, one is you don't want to divide up the player base into another mode, which I can kind of get, but barely. The other one would be that maybe they think it would be too buggy, but so what? 90% of the shit in this game was buggy at one point. Who cares? 2v2 tag team, throw it in right now. It can have infinites. It could be broke as hell. Nobody cares. Half the shit in this game has been broken at one point or another. I just don't get why we have the opportunity for LTMs, because it is a live service game and we're treating it like that. Why? Like, it's so simple. How are we entering 2025 and we haven't gotten a single one? Not even like a holiday mode where we throw snowballs at each other. But that leads me into major point number 3, which is giving you a way to play with your friends that isn't 1v1 against each other. A way to do that could be a playlist where when you and your friend queue in, you fight against 2 people that are queuing together as friends. You each play one of the other players on the other team. If it's 2-0, you and your teammate win and you get ranked points. We could add a ranked leaderboard for this, or you could create a team that has leaderboard positions. But if it ends up at a 1-1 tiebreaker, then the winner from each team, because that means one player from each team won, plays each other to break that tie, and that team ends up winning the set. It just would solve fighting games' biggest problem, and that's it's really hard to play with friends past the stage where nobody knows how to play fighting games at all. As soon as one player in a friend group gets better than everybody else, either everybody else in the friend group stops having fun because that player just stomps them every single time, or that one player stops having fun because the rest of his friends don't want to play him anymore. He just has to sit back and watch because he would destroy everyone, and it no longer becomes fun. You don't have anybody that wants to play you. You just have more fun, I guess, spectating, but still, it could be done better if we finally had a team-based mode in a Mortal Kombat game where I can pair up with one of my best friends. All right, the next major point, why don't we have Rocket League style tournaments that run once daily? You only have to do it once daily for Mortal Kombat 1, even though Rocket League does like 5 or 6 a day. But say it ran at 6 p.m. my time. From 5:40 p.m. to 5:59 p.m., you have the opportunity to join into the tournament queue. At 6 o'clock, that queue closes and it starts building 16 player brackets from anybody who queued up. After that's done, you just do a tournament, just like Rocket League. It takes about an hour in Rocket League. I don't know how long it would take in Mortal Kombat 1, but depending on how you place, you get more cool rewards, and they could be tournament specific rewards preferably. Say you lose in the first round, so you place 12th through 16. You get the lightest amount of rewards. That is a little bit tough, but it is fun to see, okay, I want to improve, and tomorrow I'm going to get on and try and get top 8. But if you win, you could get a really cool badge on your combat card that starts tallying how many you've won, or a really cool skin for a character, or just special rewards. How are we not putting in a tournament mode on a game based on a damn tournament, man? Like, that drives me nuts. Tournaments have been in these video games like Rocket League and other titles for so long. It can't be that hard to do to run a daily event where players can queue up and play into it. Man, I've been asking for a tournament mode since MK11, so I'll wrap up that point there because I'll blow a gasket thinking about how we don't have a tournament mode for special rewards. I know PlayStation has a version of that apparently, but NetherRealm should have built one in client, and that needs to happen in 2025. Okay, next major point, and this touches on single player. NetherRealm needs to add all these light additions like I'm suggesting as soon as possible, but then be prepared to release a brand new high caliber game mode around when the Mortal Kombat 2 movie releases, I believe in November of 2025. We don't need a new story expansion. We don't need a crypt. It's too late for that. A new fun game mode, whether that's single player or multiplayer, I don't care, but something. It's a win-win for NetherRealm because they will want to sell movie skins. It's a guarantee. So why wouldn't you want as many players as possible coming back to try this brand new hype major game mode that becomes a staple of the game? I swear it's gonna end up being like the tournament idea I have, and while I'll be really happy it's in the game, I'll be so mad it takes that long. I know it's not gonna be some like conquest that is just way too much, but maybe a permanent 2v2 tag team mode where each character has their own health bar, but it actually has a ranked leaderboard and its own ranked rewards, things like that. Just a brand new mode that is very important. And I'll go to this reward screen to tack off what I think is my final major point. Might not be my final major point, but I think it is. And it's that these need to be improved in 2025. You had the perfect blueprint in MK11 to give brutals in each season of Kombat League. Why do I think that is much better than the system that just handed us 2 for each character right away at the start of Chaos Reigns? That's because it took you like 30 sets to unlock both for your main character, and then you never had to play again. Part of the fun of MK11 Kombat League was coming on each new season and saying, oh shit, there is a new Sub-Zero Brutal in the shop, brand new. It's bound to look cool and I want it. But I just don't get why NetherRealm ever thought dumping every single new Brutal out there right away was a good idea. It doesn't keep you coming back. And then also, if you looked at yours and you're like, that second one's not that great, I don't really want that one anyways, you didn't stay on long at all. Unlike in MK11, where you would play Kombat League to earn that new Brutal, and until you unlocked it, you had no idea what it looked like. You didn't get to preview it, anything. It was one of the most fun surprises that the game had, and I can't believe it is not back in this game. We just threw everything out there to buy with the seasonal credits. Yeah, the fun and the hype of it was killed on day one because you could unlock every single one so quickly, and they all got posted to YouTube right. It was just a blunder. So we need to revamp these and have their own new cool brutals, finishers, anything like that. Oh, another major point is bring back mercies. I know that goes in with the fact that this game was rushed out. Don't get me wrong, I understand that, but I feel like mercies can't be that hard to implement. Giving each player back 20% health and just auto resetting neutral like it's a new round, like that cannot be hard to do in my opinion. So why aren't mercies back? It's one of the most missed things about MK11 for me. There's really no point. It doesn't have to be here, but just mercies need a comeback. So yeah, that's my rant on what will save MK1 in 2025. See you guys later for Road to Rank 1.